But basically, it's exactly the same style you see in the intro. Just test your understanding of the concept. Nothing tricky, nothing special, just one correct answer. Okay. And this thing, and yeah, unit testing, testing strategy, yeah, all those things. You need to, as I said, you need to develop a framework for those basic concepts. Basically, what I mean is, if you just close your notes, and then you still can repeat the basic concepts. Sometimes taking your ability to understand the meaning of the concept. So don't use your own words. So if you see the multiple choice answers, normally those words from the slide, there are. So don't try to think. I try to think maybe some other definition, because we should have a basic structure of the exam. That is all based on the lecture. So you may see something else from other book, but based on the lecture. Okay? And those things, interface, you see, test considerations. You need to know what do we mean by the test interface, test local, there's certain boundary conditions in different paths, and there are many paths. You should understand what kind of testing this one is. What is the purpose for each of them? Okay. Those are all driven by test cases. Unit test, which is quite easy, because basically I mentioned those things here in later lectures slides as well. Drivers, stop, those kind of things you need to understand. Bottom down, top down, bottom up. You all should understand those things. What else we have? Yeah, concepts of regression, smoke, testing, okay, benefits, validation testing, alpha, beta, you also should know that, okay? And debugging, what is definition of debugging? So it's basically definition, and then some kind of why debugging is so difficult, those kind of reasons for that, and those different techniques. And how you correct error before you ask questions before even you correct them. Yeah, those are basically very good practice in flow. Okay, that's pretty much for this lecture. Is just the concepts. Okay? And for another one, lecture 8. Lecture 8. Okay, those are not others. This is a repeat from previous one. From here, internal, external views. Why exhaustive testing is not possible in many cases, and what is the basic strategy we use, which is the selective testing, and the rest of the lecture basically show you how selective testing is applied in different situations, in different software paradigm, conventional software and object-oriented thing, web box. This one is mainly for internal structure, and how you use selective testing to web box those, so you need to know the details of those flow graph. So I can give you a short answer question on those things, right? I cannot give you for the others, maybe it's difficult, but for those kind of things, it's easy. And then compound conditions, independent program paths, upper bound, those kind of theory, cyclomatic complexity, you also know. And how you derive test cases, you have the steps. And this is an example you need to understand. How you derive graph. And also, yeah, different type of loop testing. How you test different loops. Black box. Nothing special here, just a concept. And again, first of all, what is black box testing, and also how you do selective testing in black box testing. You do equivalence partition. How you do it? Yeah, based on different kind of an input condition. You do that. And there are other testing, like comparison testing, which is high reliability is required. And those are examples of limitations of black box testing. Yeah. You see, this one, comparison testing, is you have two groups, they independently develop their program, then you use same data to test them. It is also part of black box testing. Okay, here is just nothing special, all concepts except that the graph. For the next one, object-oriented. Okay, those concepts. Why in object-oriented testing, you know is not unit is not procedure, is a class, and then what are those characteristics of object-oriented programming that impact your testing? And here I just give you, we just focus on the encapsulation reviews. And so this is how encapsulation will impact on testing. Reviews, how reviews will impact on testing. Here, basically the concept of unit testing in object-oriented programming, and also exhaustive testing is not practical, and then you have to use selective testing, and then those are basic selective testing strategies in object-oriented unit testing. Random testing, you have partition based on different partition. You have state-based partition, you have attribute-based partition, category-based partition. And also this kind of attribute-based partitioning, and those are formalization, and then how those things formalized. For example, how this one is understood, and based how those different attributes can be clustered to different methods, and then we do that. So basically, it gave you a class. You need to know. You should be able to know how to do. For example, I asked you to do a selective testing based on attribute partitioning. You should know how to partition those kind of attributes and group with method and do those testing. Okay. And integration testing between classes. inter-class testing, we also have random testing, also behavioral testing. Those are based on state transition, and then scenario-based testing is based on use case. Yeah, random testing, those are examples from behavioral model. This kind of state transition model is a behavioral model you can use to test. Basically, the concept is you develop a test case which covers every state. Okay? And here is an example. This one is basically yes, behavioral state testing. You have a state diagram and how basically how the different state of this kind of program is tested. Yeah. Sometimes in order to achieve one state, you have to go from another state to something. But it's just to know for those things. I may give you an application question, but you need to know the concept first and see how that concept is applied to that specific example. So that you can apply the same concept to other examples as well. Okay? It's not just understand the example. You understand how the concept is applied to that example. The reason I give you example is to show you how the concept is applied. And then you have to know, you have to have that kind of knowledge in your mind to answer the questions. Again, I just give you two, I think pretty much this is what we have. And for those, those same example. For that SQAP thing, I may give you, ask you some questions regarding the format and the requirements of those SQAP. Yeah. For example, minimum document requirements. In that way, I give you some, for example, multiple choice question. Some document is not included, is not required. Some is required. I ask you which one is required. Okay. And probably some content from conformance, yeah. And the format conformance. Those things in my slides, the same thing is you read them, and then you basically understand the document, the standard, attribute standard. So I think other than that, I don't have too much to say. It's very straightforward, very simple, just very limited content. Just pay one, when you review it, because you only have 1 week, I think is enough to do that. When you review it, first of all, I give you two methods. One is for those concepts, try just read and understand is not enough. Okay, understanding the slides is different from you can answer my question. That's a different thing. You don't think you read the slides, everything looks familiar, and then you're so happy, and then you see my questions, and you don't know which one, because by reading that, you may not very precisely understand that. Sometimes if I give you some similar answers, that will confuse you. And then, so you need to, I would suggest you circle those keywords in the slides, and then those key points for each concept. And then you can reflect on those key points. For example, the next day, and then if tonight you look at all the slides, you write down the you circle the key points. Tomorrow you're gonna reflect on those key points, see if you understand them. And then, so basically you can reach a level that if I give you a key point, though you don't remember exactly the word, but you know precisely the meaning. And for other questions, for those application questions, graph, like those kind of an example, you need to, again, know the concept definition and also know how that thing is applied. Don't just stop with understanding the example, that's not enough. Imagine I give you a different question. Maybe the same kind of programming, but a different, that programming example, maybe I give you a different piece of code. And you got confused. You see, in the example you have 12 states, but this one have 13. How I do it? Okay. So you need to, the way you practice is you look at the theory and the concept, and then you see how that thing is applied to that example, and then put that thing away for like a couple of hours. Maybe tomorrow you go back, you work on that example by yourself, see if you can do it. Okay? If you can work by that, you can do the example by yourself without looking at any other solution, you should be able to. You should be okay. You see, I told you every secret. Okay, I think it should be okay. It's not